In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 10 best point guards right now in the NBA. At number 10 might come as a surprise to a lot of people, but is actually going to be Ja Morant. And the thing with Ja is, yes, over the past couple seasons, he's been a lot better than he's looked at the start of the season. And maybe at the start of the season, it's definitely due to injuries, and he's missed quite a bit of time. But it really hasn't looked like the same Ja Morant. We look at his stats, only 21 points per game. Now, his playmaking and his assist numbers are definitely up. He's averaging over 9 assists per game, but efficiency wise, it just really isn't there for a guy like Ja. He's only shooting 26% from three, and his 2 point efficiency is also down compared to last year's at only 53%. So, yes, you got to look at the body of work. Yes, you got to look at previous seasons when you're taking into account, the ranking of top 10 point guards and the ranking of NBA players. But Ja Morant is still looking good, and he's still Ja Morant, and I know he'll get back to his old form, and he'll probably be higher up on this ranking later in the year. But as of right now, I just don't feel like you can put a guy like Ja Morant much higher than number 10. Number 9 here is going to be Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. And the thing with Trae Young is, yes, he's averaging the most assists in the NBA right now, and we know Trae Young's playmaking is unworldly and is probably one of the best passers and playmakers at the point guard position. He's averaging 12.4, which is leading the NBA. But the thing with Trae Young is, he's shooting horribly from three. He's only shooting 32.5% from three, where he's normally a 37, 35, at least, somewhere upwards in that mid to 30s range. Trae Young is probably one of the weaker defenders in the entire NBA. He's only 6 foot. He's just not a good defender. He's very much so a liability on that side of the ball, but you still have to give Trae Young that respect because of his playmaking. At number 8 might be a huge surprise to a lot of people, putting him over guys like Trae and Ja, but that's going to be Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons. And about Detroit, I'm loving the way they're playing this year. I think Detroit has looked amazing to start this season, and that is mostly due to the play of Cade. This man is averaging 23.5 points per game. He's averaging over 9 assists per game, and also grabbing you 7 boards a night. So you're looking at a guy who's putting up 23.5, 9, and 7 on very good efficiency. This man is shooting 37.5% from three. And it's not like he's not taking that many shots. He's taking 6 threes a game and is still knocking them down very efficiently. And compared to the other guards on this list so far, like Trae and Ja that I've mentioned at 10 and 9, Cade at 8 is a very versatile and a lot better of a defender than both of those point guards, and I think you have to take that into account. Now, at number 7 here, we do have Damian Lillard, and it's not a normal Damian Lillard season so far to start this year. I feel like he's been a little bit weaker this year than maybe he has been in the past couple years. Yeah, last year was horrible for Dame, but the year before that, he put up 32 points on great efficiency, where this year, he's at 26, which is very solid for a guy like Dame. His efficiency is a little bit lower than maybe you'd hope at only 35%. But the thing about Dame is I feel like his playmaking has been better this year. He's averaging almost 8 assists per game. And I think overall Dame has looked a lot better than his last season with the Bucks. I think that was just him trying to get used to a new team, a new system, new players, new coaches. And I feel like he is at a disadvantage with his coaching staff this year under Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. I feel like that's been a huge reason of maybe why the Bucks haven't looked so great. They've started to look better over the past couple weeks. Number 6 is going to be De'Aaron Fox from the Sacramento Kings, and a guy that I was actually not that high on at the start of this season. I've never been that high on De'Aaron Fox, but man, has he been proving me wrong. This guy is averaging almost 28 points per game on very, very solid efficiency for a guard of his size. Yes, he's only shooting 34% from the three, but he's shooting 57% from two. And De'Aaron Fox is probably one of the better slashing guards in the entire NBA. Super, super quick and fast. His acceleration is unreal. Probably still one of the fastest, if not the fastest players in the entire NBA. And the thing I really value about Fox is his defense. I think he's another very good defender. Maybe not as tall as a guy like Cade at only standing about 6'3", 6'4", but De'Aaron Fox, because of that speed and quickness, I feel like he's very good laterally on those guards, and I think he's a very good defender. Now, getting into my top 5 point guards right now in the NBA, at number 5, we do have LaMelo Ball, which might sound ridiculous to a lot of people to put a guy like LaMelo when he's only in his 5th year to put him as a top 5 point guard. But the things that LaMelo Ball is doing in year number 5 are ridiculous. This guy is averaging over 31 points per game, and he is just doing unreal stuff on the basketball floor. If you guys have been watching the Hornets play, I mean, he is so exciting, so fun to watch. And we all remember that LaMelo Ball from Chino Hills. But the things LaMelo was doing in high school, he's also translating into the NBA. He plays like it's a street game. Like he's shooting one leg off the dribble, fadeaway threes. He had that 1-3 where he's literally falling down and still made it. I mean, the things he's doing offensively are unreal. And another thing I like about LaMelo is, once again, his size and his versatility, like a guy like Cade on the defensive end. But at number 4, it's got to be Steph Curry. Now, that might seem a little bit low for Curry, and I just feel like he hasn't been playing that amazing to Steph Curry levels to start this season. Like, he's only averaging 22 points per game. Yes, it's still Steph Curry. He's going to be shooting 44% from 3. We know what he can do from beyond the arc. I mean, he's the greatest shooter of all time. I think he's the best point guard of all time. And I don't think there's too much of a debate when it comes to the greatest shooter. He still has that name value, that body of work over the past couple seasons. Yes, his points are down, and I think they will probably improve as the season does progress. I mean, it's another typical Steph Curry year. His playmaking numbers are up a little bit. He's averaging 6.5 assists per game compared to last year where he was only at 5 a game. So you like to see that playmaking from Curry. The third best point guard, in my opinion, right now in the NBA is going to be Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks. And the thing with Jalen Brunson compared to a guy like Steph Curry is he's giving you more points per game. He's averaging 26 a game on even better playmaking than a guy like Steph. He's averaging almost 8 assists per game while still shooting the ball very efficiently. He's shooting 41% from 3. He's shooting near 50% from the field, and I just feel like he's playing just as efficiently as Steph Curry while having better numbers on just as good of a team as Steph Curry's playing on, because I feel like team record and team strength does matter a ton when we're ranking the top 10 best point guards, but I don't think the Warriors are much better or even better of a team than the New York Knicks, and Jalen Brunson has even more all-stars and star caliber players to play with, and he's still putting up great numbers compared to a guy like Curry, who's definitely playing on a weaker team and having to be asked to do more, but the numbers really aren't there for Steph. So at number 2, I do have Luka Doncic, and we know the unworldly things that Luka does on the basketball floor. I mean, this season, I don't feel like he's been at his best. I feel like he's been dealing with a lot of injuries. He's just out with that injury right now. I'm not sure when he's going to be coming back, but the Mavs have looked good without Luka. But when Luka's been playing, I mean, he's still looked obviously amazing. It's still Luka Doncic. He's still averaging 28, 7.5 assists, 7.5 rebounds. I mean, those are unheard of numbers from a guard. But the thing about Luka this year is his efficiency really hasn't been there, at only shooting 32% from 3, 43% from the field, and only 52% from 2. So his efficiency numbers are all down from previous seasons. And a guy like Luka at that guard position, I just feel like needs to be a lot more efficient. But a guy like Shai at number 1 is shooting 34% from 3. And the thing about Shai compared to Luka Doncic is Shai is a very, very good defender at that point guard position. He averages almost 2 steals a night, but I do think SGA is a much better defender. And Shai is also averaging, almost 2 more points per game. Like Shai is putting up 30 points a night. So I do think I'm going to give that slight edge to Shai in the top 10 point guard ranking. So I got number 2, Luka Doncic, and number 1, SGA. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.